Hello, this is Reenal Gohil from Team 6, and I would like to introduce our team members, Mr. Arun Kumar, Ethan Zetzman, Harsh Kumar Patel, Janvi Mahesh Thakkar, and Rishabh Minhas. And our project topic is Project Procurement Management. So basically, project procurement is a process for forming partnerships between organizations' purchasing department and external suppliers in order to purchase, receive, review, and approve all the procurement items required for the execution of the project. Procurement refers to the final act of purchasing goods or services, and it's critically important for companies to lead to their final procuring decisions. It requires continuous monitoring, like automated or administrative, and assessment of the procurement process to grow the business profitability and to resolve the inefficiencies.
Hi. Now let's understand how procurement management can benefit business. So, procurement has become recognized as an essential facilitator of business strategy and a favored means of attaining sustainable cost cutbacks. It is no longer a question of simply improving your operation. If you want your company to be ahead in the competition, or at the very least at par with the competitors, you need to transform your operations. Optimizing procurement is beneficial on many levels, adding actual value to your business, such as reduced cost, greater efficiency, and innovation. Now, let's understand one by one. Talking about reduced costs. So, if your effective procurement management enables an organization to lower costs by procuring supplies, services, and contracts at the best price, proper procurement management also enables a company to make the most of warranties or discounts that are often forgotten. Additionally, an effective purchasing process will provide an organization better visibility into the organization's budget and how company funds are spent. This allows a business to have the option of leveraging additional cash flow by extending payment terms and helping business owners forecast for the future. Now, moving on to the second part, which is increased efficiency. So, when a company has fully functional procurement process, this will result in quality goods and services being delivered on time. This also helps businesses find solutions to unforeseen circumstances such as labor shortage or surplus, natural disasters, and economic instability. An effective procurement process also enables an organization to distinguish between effective vendors and underperforming vendors. As a result, the company's overall supply chain will be improved, and there is a possibility of being compensated by underachieving vendors who fail to deliver goods and or services within agreed upon parameters. The third one is innovation. So, an effective procurement process can help with innovation. Due to stiff competitions that businesses face, business owners seek any competitive edge they can achieve to make their products or services better. An effective procurement process allows a company to look for innovative products or services that they can offer consumers. When this happens, the business may also be able to secure exclusive deals with suppliers. So basically, effective procurement practices can help make your organization get ahead in the competition.
This brings us to the 4 steps involved in the project procurement management. These are plan procurement, conduct procurement, control procurement, and close procurement. So here is the overview of first 3 steps: the inputs, tools and techniques used, and outputs. Plan project procurement. This is the first step in project procurement. During this phase, the procurement need of the project is identified, listing out the scope of work for external vendors. The inputs in this phase are project charter, business document, organizational process assets, and outputs are procurement strategy, bid document, procurement strategy for work. Conducting procurement. The second step is conducting procurement, which involves deciding who will do the work, providing the necessary paperwork to interested sellers, acquiring bids or proposal from the sellers, choosing the best seller, awarding them a contract to do the work. So approaches for procurement can be contacting the preferred vendor. This makes the process fast. Contacting a number of possible vendors. This way you can choose the vendor who is the best fit. Advertising to anybody who is interested. This makes your vendor search even more wide and provide a lot of alternatives to choose from. Here is a sample sheet for how you can evaluate different vendors. Weights are given to different evaluation criteria to choose the best option.
That brings us to step number 3, monitoring and controlling procurement. This includes monitoring performance, managing relationships, and taking corrective action if appropriate to resolve any prominent issues. Monitoring and controlling procurement ensures that both parties obtain the benefit contractually agreed upon. Tasks that may be performed include, number 1, collecting performance data to measure actual performance and compare it against performance estimates. Number 2, evaluating the vendor using a vendor performance evaluation. This provides the seller an outlook on their performance and suggests corrective action if necessary. Key performance indicators established during the planning stage can be utilized to get a realistic picture of how the procurement is progressing. Number 3, managing relationships among personnel involved. Number 4, paying invoices to personnel for the work that has been performed. And finally, number 5, submitting a change order request. Terms for this process are initially established in the procurement contract and are utilized so that a seller or buyer can request a change to the document. A change order document is then generated that amends the initial contract. Finally, we have the closing of procurement. This is the stage in which project procurement is brought to a close and any agreements and documentation are stored for future reference. Procurement hits this stage when a contract is completed or if a contract is terminated prior to the completion of work. Tasks that may be performed during this stage include, number 1, work verification. This ensures that all work is completed and is performed with an acceptable level of quality. Number 2, final settlement. This is where all claims, invoices, and other issues are settled. Number 3, updating records. This ensures that records regarding the project are accessible for future use, complete, and up to date. Number 4, creating a final report that outlines overall performance throughout the entirety of the project. And finally, procurement audit. This is a review of the procurement process, where it is evaluated against a number of pre-established criteria.
How the procurement helps in project succession. A well-executed procurement management aids in project certainty, quality, cost control, reduce risk, etc. First, increase certainty and quality. Meticulous planning and negotiating through the contract ameliorates timing and the quality of the products the project aims to deliver. The second, control, the cost control. Budget overruns are rarely ignored by businesses. So procurement prices that has been carefully negotiated is critical to keeping project expenses under control. And being able to predict procurement expenses helps to guarantee that the projects are completed on time and on budget. Number 3 is reduced risk. Greater transparency and greater transparency about the suppliers, contract conditions, and product and the service quality minimizes the procurement risk, and as a result, overall project hazards. Your project delivers can be kept on schedule if you have a well-developed and implemented procurement management process.
I will talk about the examples of project procurement management. First of all, I will talk about a real-life example That could be a scenario for a manager. For example, in this scenario that I have considered or created, a branch manager of a business is actually looking for something that will reduce the energy cost and energy consumption of the branch that he's managing currently. And for that, he's looking for a service provider or a freelancer that can work for him, or provide all the necessary insights that he requires in order to consume lesser electricity and make the system more eco-friendly. So for this to be taken care of, first of all, he obviously needs to submit some of the paperwork to corporate headquarters, which after getting approved will he plan for the project budget, and he will draft a contract with the person with him whom he will take the service from. After drafting the contract, he will make sure that everything is done rightly according to the plan and the requirements, and he will make sure that all the day-to-day activities that are going on are up to the mark. And then finally, after the project is concluded, he will pay them. So this was a real life example of procurement management. And now I will talk about how the process actually looks like. A project procurement management process looks like this. So first of all, we need to identify what to procure exactly, and what exactly is the timeline for the purchase. If we need to purchase some service or purchase some goods, then we need to identify that first. So first of all, most of the services are not provided in house for businesses. So we need to find some contractor, supplier, or any external organization which may help us for renting their service or buying them. So now we'll talk about the potential suppliers or the providers that the project manager can look forward to. And for this, he or she needs to do some thorough research and shortlist some of the employers that he can get for the project, for the successful completion of the project that he has at his hands. After which, this acquiring quotes and bids from them is very necessary and a big task, because it has to fit in the budget that manager has set aside for this particular project. And after this, managing the relationship with the supplier or the service provider is extremely important, because with the help of this, he can contact them in the future if they face some particular issue related to this exact same process. And after this, the contract closes out. It's mostly just pretty much this, the whole process for most of the procurement management processes. Now, this is an overall analysis of the procurement system and its constraints. So first of all, these are the different kind of constraints that I mentioned in the column of type: fixed total cost, unit price, incentive fee, and price adjustment. These are all the costs that can incur while considering this procurement system, and its known scope, risk, incentives for the meeting milestones, and predictability of costs are compared to each other. Now, this is a table of risk analysis of a procurement system and its constraints. So this, first of all, as I mentioned earlier, the fees we have already discussed, the cost to the project that are compared to each other, and then we can finally decide which are the costs that we can prefer to allocate most of our budget to, and which are the costs that we can neglect or give a little bit lesser importance. So that has been discussed in the previous slide. Now I will discuss more about the time and material, unit price, cost plus, or incentive fee contracts. So as you can see that all the things that I said right now are written in the description. And the risk, actually, what is the main factor here is the risk. We need to compare the risk of all these contract types and analyze our system, and after this only we can make proper decision based on the risk types. So thank you. This was all for the examples of project procurement management. If you have any questions or you would like to comment anything, then just leave a comment in the comment section of the video. Thank you.